I'll bleep it out.
Nobody knows my name.
Don't say it. Okay, we got plenty of stuff.
Yeah, bleep out the cats' names for me, please.
Of course.
Yeah, that was reckless.
But the cats are might make their presence known at some point. But we got plenty of great stuff. We got some poems coming up. Okay, what do you...
Sorry for going so personal.
Two choices for the poems.
Okay, we're just going into poems.
Yeah, dude, we gotta read. Are you saying we shouldn't read?
No, I'm not saying we shouldn't read.
Should I put all the books up?
Just because I didn't doesn't mean I think the opposite.
Poems for Vishnu or Sufi mystic poetry?
Oh.
Just to start.
Ooh, Hindu or Muslim?
They're not going to be that long. You should just pick one.
Okay,
pretty soon.
I'm going to go with Hymns for the Drowning.
Okay, this is Hymns for the Drowning. This is a good... I read this whole book. They're pretty short.
When did you read it?
January.
Nice. Do you remember a lot from it?
I just remember I took a picture of this poem because I thought it was good.
So you have one poem tabbed.
Yeah, I only have one poem tabbed. And it's like they split them up weird. So it'll be like, it's like one whole thing and then another. It's like part two.
Yeah.
But also I think a lot of them, like it'll have this little number and that's like, it's part of some bigger thing that they've edited out.
Is it like an organizational system? Or
it's like 397.
It's a number poem. It's a number poem.
Well, it's like part of a big poem.
Yeah, it's a poem, and then it says 397 at the bottom
that's
of the poem.
That's what verse number and...
But then the one that's the same, it's part of the same poem, has 4...
Because I'm explaining to you right now. They're different edited parts.
Okay.
And this tells you what part of the... If you knew the whole part, you could find out this little section of it.
It's the stanza.
Yeah, I don't understand how you do that. The introduction's long. I'm not going to read it. This one's called No More Kings.
We don't need introductions.
And this is from... what year is it from? I think it's from like the... I think it's another 8th century, 10th century is what I'm saying. 1,000 years ago. More than 1,000 years ago, probably.
Over 1,000 years ago.
Right. So this one's called No More Kings. My lord of 1,000 names gives and gives. The fame of his giving crosses all boundaries. I cannot praise anyone else, cannot say to some paltry thing of this world, your hand is bounteous as the rain, your shoulders are strong as the mountains. I cannot tell such barefaced lies.
Whoa.
This is the second part. Kings, who rule the earth all alone for long years, will one day hobble on legs bitten by black dogs and beg from a broken pot here in this very life with the whole world watching. Don't tarry then. Think of the Lord's feet and live.
I'm always saying that.
No, yeah, they do really like his feet. They are talking about Vishnu's feet a lot in these.
Well, feet are sacred. They carry us.
Well, it's like even his feet,
They carry us.
No, I think they're bad. I think they're all dirty, and he's so cool. Even his feet, Think
even
of his feet, yeah.
And they reek.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
And then this part's part 3 of it, and it just says our masters. It's like not a different poem, but it says our masters. The 4 castes uphold all clans, go down, far down, to the lowliest outcasts of outcasts. If they are the intimate henchmen of our Lord, with the wheel in his right hand, his body as dark as blue sapphire, then even the slaves of their slaves are our masters.
Shit.
So, think about that.
I need to think about that. What drew you to that poem?
It was good. I don't know. When you read all the other ones, you go, okay, I liked this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he just hates the king, Fuck the king. Everybody at this time was going, you gotta love the king.
I'm always saying that, man. They're gonna die. He reeks.
Pretty similar to some stuff that Jesus said, too, if people think about it.
Whoa.
There's another. So you should read the...
What do you think of that?
You read the... Okay, this is... Wait, let me read the intro to this.
Pick a poem.
No, you're not picking it. I already picked it.
Oh, okay.
But I was going to read the intro about the author of this poem, because this one's way more better organized and has cool info and stuff. So this one's by Kabir, and he lived from 1398 to 1447. He's really famous. Okay, Kabir was born near the holy city of Varanasi, or Benares. He is regarded as a poet saint closely associated with the Bhakti, or Hindu devotional movement in India. It is said that Kabir was raised by Muslim weavers and trained by Hindu masters. As such, his personal philosophy combined concepts from both religions, although he rejected the idea of religion itself as well as the notion of sex. sects. Sects.
Even funnier.
Right. Virtually illiterate, Kabir was an oral Hindi poet. His works were passed on in songs and are often sung in temples and Qawwali gatherings. His poems are found in the Adi Granth, literally the first book, an early compilation of the Sikh scriptures.
Literally the first book.
Yeah, literally.
Literally.
Adi Granth.
Adi Granth. Read it.
Kabir's poetry is much loved by Sufis, and he is himself regarded as a Sufi poet in Hindi. The Baijak Seedling, a compilation of poetry, is considered his most important work, though he is famous for his dohas, couplets in the Hindi form, which lend themselves to oral transmission. And then this one is called Illusion. And Conrad's going to read Illusion.
I'm going to read Illusion by
This one's
Kabir.
good.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to lie. When you were in the bathroom, I peeked at this one. So I'm
You're
pretty
ready.
excited.
You pre-studied.
Pretty excited that I got to have this. Illusion. Like a wild dog, in a palace of mirrors barks himself to death. Like a lion dives into the well when it sees its own reflection. Or an elephant breaks its neck against shining rocks. The greedy monkey grabs a trap. The greedy monkey grabs a trap and then has to dance to the master's tune. And you, slave of illusion, who has captured you? Damn. You just owned me with a poem.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Think about that. Yeah, think about... this one's cool because it's like,
Thanks
how did he know about capitalism, bro?
Thanks for calling me a slave of illusion. Yeah, the greedy monkey grabs a trap and then has to dance to the master's tune.
Yeah.
Jeez,
Pretty
man.
much any office job.
Yeah, just got done dancing to the master's tune.
And the elephant, breaking its neck... I don't understand. I mean, I guess maybe more people knew about that in India. You're like, you know more about elephants if you live in India. You're like,
they're always breaking their necks on shining rocks.
Yeah, you're like, why did that elephant break its neck?
Right.
But yeah, and the dogs.
Wild dog.
I like the dog.
You ever feel like a wild dog in a palace of mirrors?
Right. Pretty much, yeah, logging onto Facebook or Twitter or
It's going
Instagram.
on the internet.
Yeah, pretty
you
much.
just bark yourself to death.
Pretty much.
Wow.
But
And what's the other one? A lion dives into the well
when he sees its own reflection. Yeah. That's pretty much parasocial relationships, if you think, sort of like being like, oh no, it's my friend. And you're like, oh fuck, I'm in the well.
I think it's trying to be famous.
That too. I mean, it's everything, pretty much.
Trying to blow up. Then man. We're slaves of illusion.
Yeah, and that's gonna tie. I think that's gonna tie in nicely to this big ass book I have.
Yeah, this is by far the biggest book that you've ever brought forth to my table. This is also the first episode. It's actually not my table.
Corrugated. But
I actually don't live here.
This is your wife's table. So we have. So this is called Drawing Power.
Okay.
It's like this big ass book that has cool like old shit kind of like scanned into it. There's like cool old ads and stuff. And it has just really cool. And I bought it for the art and stuff, but then I read the intro thing and I was like, this intro thing is so good. So I thought we would read the intro thing.
Okay.
But I read it a while ago.
Book
So it's called Drawing Power,
What is it?
a compendium of cartoon advertising. So it's about kind of the birth of in advertising, how they use cartoons to control
awesome.
people, and how power works in America.
I'm looking
stuff
at
like
a
that.
picture of Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse holding rifles, dressed like...
Yeah, it's a great book.
Donald Duck's dressed like a Confederate soldier, and Mickey Mouse is like a Navy officer with like a sword and shoulder pads with tassels on them. And it says double protection for your motor.
So yeah, another thing why I like this book
Sunoco oil.
is because it's like a thing I think about is that newspapers used to be really cool. And like by the time we were born, they like weren't cool anymore. But like for a while, they were like the coolest thing kind of, and like where all the cool cutting edge stuff was happening.
Yeah, but there's just other shit.
But it's like they're really good at printing, and like we're really bad at printing now. Like we couldn't reproduce a lot of this stuff, or like it wouldn't look the same, or it wouldn't have the same quality sort of to it.
It wouldn't have the same.
But
because it was like,
I don't know, just they do multicolor printing, and it's very interesting, and just the art is, you know,
the depiction of black people is very cool.
Yeah, man.
I like it.
No, there is racist stuff in it, but yeah, I mean, we're not the point isn't that we go, wow, and we love advertising. That's not going to be
I love
the end point. It's going to be, wow, they really make really good art to make people persuade them to do stuff.
It's impressive that people do this. To like, they make a whole comic strip for cereal, or cigarettes. 28% less.
We're gonna start reading it.
Holy shit! Sorry, I was just getting into the book.
Right, but we'll be much better at getting into the book once we read the introduction. You know.
Dang.
But the introduction is by Rick Marshall, and it's like a book by Rick Marshall, or it's edited by Rick Marshall and Warren Bernard. And Warren Bernard is a cool guy. If you look him up on YouTube, you can like watch tours of his house, and he has like cool, like, archive stuff, and he pulls it out, and he's like, "This is a socialist newspaper from 1910," and you know he has cool shit like that. Just fun.
Yeah, I want to look at that.
Old shit.
Look at the comic strips.
So this is called,
Describe them.
the name of this introduction thing is called Cartoons and the Selling of America. Gene Shepard, the diarist of American popular culture, the Samuel Pepys of our time, chronicled the theme of this book in almost everything he wrote or delivered in monologues. On radio and in print, he told the story of his childhood that was later definitively depicted in the classic film A Christmas Story. Have you seen A Christmas Story?
Yes.
Okay, so that the guy who's the narrator of that, he's like a famous radio personality, and he would like do kind of Garrison Keillor sort of things, but more funny sort of, and like references and stuff.
Sure.
So just so
Sounds chill.
Ralphie.
Samuel Pepys?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
That's not Ralphie? Or the narrator?
No, he's comparing him to someone from Samuel Pepys is from a different time, and Gene Shepard is from our time.
Gene Shepard.
I guess, yeah. Ralphie, a fan of radio's Little Orphan Annie, had sent away for the Ovaltine-sponsored secret decoder to decipher messages given during the radio program. Interminable weeks passed until the shiny metal disc arrived in the family's mailbox. 9-year-old Ralphie locked himself in the bathroom, seeking privacy as he decoded the jumble of letters he had anxiously transcribed from the broadcast. Letter by letter, the message revealed itself. Be sure to drink your Ovaltine.
Yeah.
Ovaltine, a crummy commercial, Ralphie lisped.
The biggest letdown in
Son of
movie.
a bitch. He says, Ralphie says son of a bitch.
Does he say son of a bitch?
That's what this
I thought
is.
he says fudge.
Maybe you've only seen the TV edit. Shep captured the essence of mid-century America, a nexus of entertainment, commercialism, technology, imagination, and, more than merely cartoons and radio, of art and commerce, American style.
American style.
Radio Orphan Annie was the first popular children's radio program built on the success of the popular comic strip by Harold Gray. The show ran between 1930 and 1942. First on Chicago's WGN, then NBC's Blue Network, and the Mutual Broadcasting Network. The strip itself was a phenomenal success, appealing to children and adults alike with its mixture of humor and adventure, fantasy, and politics. Its role as a New Deal dissenter was as notable and effective as any Republican politician's. So it really affected how people thought of the New Deal, apparently. Little Orphan Annie really affected it.
Changed my mind, for sure.
Yeah. Annie's active licensing and merchandising included books, toys, games, and the radio show sponsored by Ovaltine, which in turn spawned sales of ceramic mugs, Bakelite, shaker cups, pinky rings, and aforementioned twin-dial decoder ring. Its theme song was a popular hit in itself, and millions of copies of sheet music were released. Gene Shepard built his vignette on one of many loved children spawned by cartoons and advertising. Among my own formative experiences was the privilege of growing up in the New York City suburbs and listening to Gene Shepard every weeknight for years on WOR, 10:15 to 11 p.m., and 2 hours live from the Limelight, a Greenwich Village club, every Saturday night.
Greenwich.
Greenwich. What'd I say? Greenwich?
Greenwich.
Yeah.
It's a New England. It's stupid.
Greenwich Village.
It's a stupid thing that people from New England do.
Greenwich.
It's a dumb way to talk.
But isn't it Greenwich Mean Time too? I think British people say it too.
Greenwich. Yeah, okay. It's a British. You're on watch.
Greenwich.
Don't say Greenwich.
Yeah, I mean, I mostly wasn't. I thought it would be something else. That's why I said it like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to be Greenwich Village.
Well, it's like Worcester. Like.
That's
like
spelled like that.
Spelled like Worcester.
Oh, right. But there is Worcester spelled regular.
Exactly. There's Worcester and then there's Worcester.
Sure.
It's dumb.
Yeah. Sorry.
No,
Yeah.
This is fucking riffing.
Among his cultural observations, tales of Indiana childhood, also the substance of later books and movies, and army stories, was his fascination with trivia, in quotes. As a kid hooked on old comics and movies, I was a receptive audience when he talked about old comic characters, names, obscure jingles, and memories of, say, breakfast cereal and candy bars, not just their flavors, but their names and what the packaging looked like. Today we know what trivia is from Trivial Pursuit and parlor games, but it was Shepard who gave the name, indeed the first formal recognition, to the nostalgic effluvia of American pop culture. In later years, when I got to know Shep, he told me what I already knew by osmosis. None of this obsession was derisive or dismissive. It was all fun, almost reverential, a part of his childhood, a part of America's adulthood. A leitmotif of A Christmas Story, or to dish up another pretentious but appropriative term, Ralphie's idea fixe, I don't know what that is, was the official Red Ryder carbine action 200-shot range model air rifle.
What?
Because he says it like that every time.
Right.
Ralphie was so enamored of the toy.
Idea fixe.
Yeah, idea fixe. I guess that's, what he's obsessed with.
Oh, it's like a device or whatever.
Yeah, maybe it's sort of the MacGuffin,
The
sort of a
MacGuffin.
MacGuffin sort of thing. People
Yeah.
love the MacGuffin. People are always going, it's sort of the MacGuffin.
It's the briefcase in Pulp Fiction.
It's the MacGuffin. But I'm just like, you don't need to...
Oh, that's the MacGuffin.
Thanks, man.
I'm always saying that when I go to the movie.
Yeah, when I'm
theater.
hanging out with all my celebrity bigwigs,
Yeah.
everybody says that.
When I'm in the theaters, I go, that's the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Out loud. Just let them know.
Ralphie was so enamored of the toy that he could rattle off its cumbersome name faster than firing 2 shots at Black Bart, except for the time he momentarily was flustered in the presence of Santa Claus. Amidst the childhood fantasy was reality. Shepard as Ralphie and the thousands of kids he represented wanted to do more than pretend defending his parents from bad guys with any rifle. It had to be the Red Ryder air rifle, the sidearm of the comic strip cowboy, whose cartoon adventures were collected in comic books and Big Little Books, and his own radio show, which had a variety of sponsors who issued toys and games and apparel featuring Red Ryder. Until ultimately every boy in America wanted to be like the comic strip cowboy, to own the air rifle he saw in the ads and magazines, the Sunday funnies. In fact, as the cartoon and pledged to be a cowboy, cartoon ads were the entry drugs to the hallucinatory dream that boys who had never seen cows, much less horses, could, in quotes, be cowboys. Shepard pioneered nostalgia quizzes, but he anticipated America's love affair with the minor preoccupations and random subtext of its recent past. In music, the Statler brothers built a catalog of songs lovingly devoted to movie serials, radio programs, and comic characters. Do you remember these? ?
Yes.
That's one of the names of the songs.
Yes, I remember them.
But they're like, do you remember?
Yeah.
Whoever.
Yeah.
The Strand, Whatever Happened to Randolph Scott, The Class of 57, etc. Indeed, there are a few of us who cannot connect with old cartoons and comics or advertisements and commercials from our youth. Despite sometimes our best efforts, they have become part of our DNA. I see a bar of Dial soap these days, and I still hear the slogan in my skull. Aren't you glad you use Dial? Don't you wish everybody did? Despite my frank agnosticism on the issue, when I walk down the cereal aisle at the supermarket and my eyes see a box of Mapo, I've never heard of that. My ears, or at least one of them, hears that cartoon brat yelling, "I want my Mapo!"
We gotta show this to
From
our
the
parents.
cartoon TV, from the TV cartoon commercials. Thanks. I think our parents are not old enough. Thanks to the propaganda concocted by the Greenwich Village Goebbelses and the Larchmont Linens, when I was a kid, I could recite before I was able to rattle off, say, the Ten Commandments, the toothpaste pitchman's solemn assurance. Crest has been shown to be an effective decay preventative dentifrice when used in conscientiously applied program of oral hygiene and regularly professional care. Octone. Corporations do not spend billions of dollars on advertising unless it works and works well, programming the patterns of consumer habits, creating appetites of their prey, and very often cartoons and comics have been the bait that has lured the prey, aka the rest of us suckers, every minute. I see it on the first page.
We are the prey.
We're the prey.
Oh shit.
But pretty much a House of Mirrors situation.
And as two boys who grew up on advertising, this is a cool book.
But it's funny because it's weird to think like they didn't have it at one point and then they're like kind of thinking of it, like,
yeah, it's like it's what we have now all the time, but just being invented. I gotta get.
You gotta wet the whistle.
Yeah.
You gotta lubricate the instrument.
Gotta moisten my throat. All right.
Your instrument.
My tube. My instrumental tube. My pipes. Okay.
It's just the top,
Yeah. I know. I'm just,
You're looking ahead.
Getting ready.
Yeah.
Getting ready. If consumers are the victims, we are, however, willing little sheep being led to the slaughter.
True.
Never was there a happier group of patsies in history. Knowing that the advertising is effective, ad agencies have lavished the sweat and blood of talented staffs and the best possible writers and illustrators and cartoonists and designers and photographers and the best production values. The ad men's incentives traditionally were roughly equal parts boundless creativity, pride in jobs well done, and stark the narrow shit fucks you up, and stark terror that their clients will switch to rival agencies. It is therefore a funny business. Funny being defined as the root word of terms like the funny farm. The profession is only about 150 years old in America, although some would claim that it's the world's oldest profession.
Nice.
And the few history books written...
I would agree that advertising is prostitution.
It's... yeah, I think assassination is the world's oldest profession.
Right. I think you could get someone to do that for free before they were charging. You know what I mean? It's not like, because it's harder to get people to have sex with you or whatever.
That is weird. It's easier to get somebody to kill. Sometimes it feels like it's easier to get someone killed.
Yeah. Or you would probably just kill it. You would more be do it yourself.
Yeah. You just do it yourself.
Being in the army.
Right. Well, you heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Hooking's the oldest job.
I mean, that's what he's referring to in that sentence.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The world's oldest profession, in quotes, is...
That's a thing?
Yeah, it's prostitution.
Okay, I didn't know
When
that.
people say that, they mean prostitution.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
I thought they were talking about murder.
Right. I think that's something else. That has some other weird name, yeah.
Those nice ladies at the motel were just talking about murder. I thought they were all contract killers.
The world's oldest profession. Yeah, everybody at the motel is speaking in euphemisms.
Oh, you guys are all assassins. That's cool. Funny. It's a funny business. Funny being defined as the root word of terms like the funny farm. The profession is only about 150 years old in America, although some would claim that it's the world's oldest profession, but we all know it's not because that's prostitution. And the few history books written by survivors offer portraits of stereotypical ad men. The executives are depicted as nuts of bizarre temperaments who spat on conference tables and fired entire suites of workers at will. Different breeds were account execs and creative directors, portrayed as nuts who careen between inspired creativity and dark mental blocks.
Yeah.
And who also...
Matthew Weiner.
Yeah,
He's
for sure.
taking notes.
Matthew Weiner much.
He's the guy that made Mad Men.
Mad Men much. And who also fired workers at will, or were themselves fired on whims. Their ulcers had ulcers. Love that. Love when I hear people say that.
Cool ad stuff.
My ulcers have ulcers. My diarrhea has diarrhea.
Yeah.
Finally, talent. Cartoonists, illustrators, designers, copywriters, photographers were assumed to be nuts merely by virtue of their calling. Oddly enough, it was our heroes, especially the cartoonists and illustrators, who might have had the most job security. Low folks on the totem pole seldom credited when their offhand suggestions saved an agency's collective preparation H. Their skills were their preparation H? For the hemorrhoid? Okay. They all had ulcers?
Yeah, I think it's tested with that or something. I don't know.
Their skills were the irreducible components to bring any ad to completion. So the red carpets are always out for them, up and down Madison Avenue. Madison Avenue in Manhattan, of course, is the traditional home of the advertising business. Some big-name agencies were and are located in Chicago, and for obvious reasons in Los Angeles. But Mad Ave became the real and symbolic home of the ad game. New York City has its gallery ghetto, upscale Upper Madison Avenue, the Garment Center, Chinatown, Little Italy, and the Lower East Side, where they slice actual bologna. All the bologna they slice everywhere else is fake. Mad Ave came...
Well, I think they're saying cutting bologna in a figurative sense is what the admin do.
They slice... Oh, they slice...
Real bologna versus figurative bologna.
They slice actual bologna.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. I think that pisses me off, but just because I didn't get it at first. Mad Ave came to represent the neighborhood, the business, the people of the ad game. Mad Men, the hit TV series, refers to the street, returning to an earlier point, the mental and emotional conditions of its denizens. Jerry Della Femina, perhaps the quintessential ad man of the last couple of lifetimes, reportedly was the source of not one, but several characters in the show. His 1970 memoir, titled after a presumably facetious tagline he threw out in a brainstorm session for the Panasonic account, "From those wonderful folks who gave you Pearl Harbor." Damn, that's hilarious.
Shit, bro. He's Roger.
Panasonic.
They're Japanese, man.
I get it. Yeah. That's a book? We gotta get this book.
Yeah, where the ad bands being on.
But it's called "From Those Wonderful Folks Who Brought You Pearl Harbor."
No, that's the name of the book.
Yeah. Or it's his 1970 memoir, titled after a presumably
nice, yeah.
facetious tagline.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's a memoir called "From Those Wonderful Folks Who Gave You Pearl Harbor."
Right. That's big in Mad Men. They meet with these Japanese guys, and they're trying to.
But
Roger's all sad about the war.
It's a book still in print, Andrew.
But it's yeah, we should.
It's a memoir, but it's a book.
Right.
But we could get it.
But he was saying, yeah.
And we could read it.
Yeah, we could.
What was he saying?
Oh, I was just saying it's like he was saying the guy's based on the Mad Men guys.
Yeah. That's what he was saying. That like 5 guys off the show.
Yeah.
Do you think it's the guy who's like, when Don Draper's like, "What do women want?"
Right.
Do you think it was like the other guy who's like, fuck you?
I think it's Roger who's
Fuck that.
scared of it. I was saying there's these Japanese guys that show up, and then he's like, "You killed my friends."
Oh,
and
shit.
he's all like pissed at them. He's like, "We can't do business with them." And then they're like, "No, dude, chill out."
I don't know a single character. I just know they all.
He has great.
Trying to get women to smoke
This
cigarettes.
is a hot one.
That's all I remember.
You don't have to. I was trying to explain to you, but
I'm sorry.
I was trying to give you like a clip because it's like that sounds exactly like something that happens in the book. So that makes sense that they mention it.
Yeah. I'm sorry for talking over you.
You don't know. That's not.
We're doing.
That's not why I'm mad.
We're doing. What am I doing? Okay. And Della Femina, Della Femina is still active in advertising. Great. While also publishing his own newspaper and running his own restaurant. The self-portrait. He had a restaurant. Everyone has a restaurant.
That would have been good in Mad Men.
Have one.
That didn't happen.
No one had a restaurant in Mad Men?
That would have been good.
I gotta watch Mad Men.
If Roger started a restaurant.
Yeah, that show brought me great boredom.
Yeah, but you're older now, so you know.
Maybe.
You're ready.
Maybe I'll come back.
You're ready for a boring show.
And we can discuss Mad Men on the next episode.
Me and Zach will talk about Mad Men.
Yeah, there's going to be a Mad Men breakdown.
We'll read the Mad Men essay collection.
You're going to talk about Don.
My brother has some book that's like essays about every episode of Mad Men or something.
Yeah, just read those.
Is that fun? Yeah.
Yeah, get them to mail them over to you. The self-portrait and other portraits in this book solidified a character type in the public consciousness. The ad man was already carving a niche in American literature. Bruce Barton, influential ad exec, one of the B's in Barton, Durston, and Osborne. What? Okay, the page breaks are, yeah.
Yeah. Sterling Cooper Draper Price.
Batten, Barton, Durstane, and
Oh!
wrote a book in 1925 called The Man Nobody Knows. Peripherally, it was about advertising and business methods, a biography of Jesus seen throughout the lenses of modern management theory. Or so its detractors dismissed it. Actually, it was a remarkable work of theology, an apologetic for what contemporary Americans could learn from Christ when depicted differently than the moony wimp of Sunday school tracts. It was an enormous bestseller in its day and remains one of the major successes of 20th century publishing. But it was also treated as an ad man's prism, the way these types supposedly looked at life. Fiction and the movies were establishing stereotypes and cliches of the actual advertising executive. Tono Bungay,
Oh!
you ever read that, by H.G. Wells? Was a novel from the early part of the century about an entrepreneur, some called visionary, but was exposed as a shyster. The miracle cure he hyped was a pun based between ton of bunk, eh? Ton of bunk, eh? It was a pun based on ton of bunk, eh?
Yeah, it's for British guys.
Yeah, hell yeah. Contemporaneous was Upton Sinclair's The Jungle, more about slaughterhouses and bacilli than the advertising of same. But the broad brush implications were there. In fact, as the centuries sludged toward a lockstep anti-capitalist viewpoint in the arts, the businessman, the salesman, and the advertising executive routinely were depicted as bad men, not just madmen. Damn. It's like a Chris Christie level roast. Just like, I call them the bad men. Stare at a camera. Such was the theme of the book and movie, The Hucksters. The villain in Death of a Salesman was, of course, the system. Of course. And the ad game culture was the terra infirma of Ernie Kovac's brilliant and neglected novel Zumar, about the early days of television.
Yeah, I remember when I first read this, I was looking up all these books. It's
Zumar.
like you can get Toto Bungay really easy. All these other books, I was like, man, this book's hard to find.
Tono Bungay. Tono Bungay. You can't get Zumar?
I remember
readily available.
Zumar was hard to find.
Civilians.
How do you spell Zumar for the listeners?
Zoomar. If you have a copy,
Ernie Kovacs.
If you have a copy, send it to 69-420 Swag Avenue, Austin, Texas 78769. Here we go. Civilians who didn't know their Battens from their Bartons, right. That's me, were getting a picture of the ad man, and they were usually correct. The ad man, as a character and as a symbol of American business, was not quite the lone cowboy or the fearless explorer, but he has gone into American lore. What kept and keeps these putative Nobel Prize literateurs? Putative. Oh. I read putative.
Putative? I don't know. I'm not looking at it.
Putative Nobel Prize literateurs and great artists on those treadmills. What keeps them on the treadmills? Surely it is not a devotion to certain toothpaste formulas, nor even the lore of bonuses or better offices closer to the chairman.
What I wouldn't give to have my office closer to the chair.
If I can be within 10 feet of the chairman, I can die
so
happy.
So far away from the chairman. Shit.
I can't even see him. I can't see him from here.
I can't see his door.
Wouldn't you want to, dude? Not me, man. I would want to be the chairman. I wouldn't even be worried about being near the chairman. Because I know I would be the chair, man. The chairman.
I'm not a chairman. I'm a chairman.
I'm not a chair, man.
I'm a chairman.
Get that on a t-shirt.
But it's like the reverse. Like I'm accidentally saying that I am a chair.
I'm a chair. I'm not a chairman. I'm a chair man.
Yeah.
Like what?
Because that's how it is. Because I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's the Jay-Z line.
I didn't know that line.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I'm not a garbage man. I'm garbage man.
I'm not a mailman. I'm mail man.
That's good.
Yeah.
For the they thems.
Yeah, hell yeah.
They them mailmen.
For they them mailman. I'm not a mailman. I'm mailman. Where are we? The answer can be found most viscerally in the work by the other side of the coin, the cartoonists. In every creative endeavor, there's a joy in the process, pride in goals accomplished. Copywriters do not take particular satisfaction if their accounts are, say, cigarette brands to read statistics about cancer deaths. And few ad men likely are callous to that particular dilemma. Yet, once challenged, the existential search for the right campaign, theme, slogan, copy, artwork, persuasive magic. Wait. Yeah. Yet, once challenged, the existential search is for the right campaign. Theme, slogan, copy, artwork, persuasive magic.
Right.
Persuasive magic?
How to convince people to buy the thing.
Yeah, the use of the word magic's cool. The achievement is measured deep down by ad men and their artists more by knowing it than by resultant sales increases months later. You just got to know it. The achievement is measured deep down by ad men and their artists more by knowing it than resultant sales. Just got to read that again.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about the money. It matters if they know it. Capturing a will-o'-the-wisp phrase or a once-in-a-lifetime serendipity can make an ad man's career.
That's true.
In self-satisfaction, if not income.
Yeah.
Although
You
many...
thought of, Oreo, Milk's favorite cookie, You thought of that.
If you're the guy who thought
It's not like that was hard work. It was just kind of being in the right place at the right time, being lucky, saying Milk's favorite cookie.
Have it your way.
Right.
Burger King.
But yeah, I don't know if you make money from doing... I don't know if that secures
Louisiana
your position.
Fast.
You're getting fired and you're like, I came up with Louisiana Fast. Sir.
Well, yeah,
Sir.
How much does that really give you? Are you...
I don't know if you get residuals.
Are you the cartoonist?
But maybe you do. I don't know.
Maybe the jingle writers are kind of the cartoonists.
They would know. The people that wrote the book.
Well, this is a
know.
book. There's no jingles.
Unfortunately, I think they're going to get into
there's no jingles in the book.
He said one earlier about the dial soap and the...
I thought that was just a saying.
No, those are jingles. Oh, I don't know. Sometimes jingles are just, Yeah, we don't know the tune to the jingles. I feel like the lyrics...
Many a man or woman was set for life by scoring with a product or client. Damn, you got to get set for life. All you got to do is just score.
Then I'm going to get set for life.
I'm going to be set.
Easy street.
Score. One big score, and I'll be set for life.
Easy street.
Good to the last drop, Theodore Roosevelt supposedly exclaimed after a breakfast's coffee at Nashville's Maxwell House Hotel.
Whoa.
It was an ad man who transformed it to an institution.
Because that's their ad, but he said...
Good to the last drop. Theodore Roosevelt said that. Wow.
Wow.
Allegedly. Have you a little fairy in your home? Was the national catchphrase for fairy soap.
My favorite.
Which I've never heard of.
I don't think they have it anymore.
In needless to say, a bygone time.
Yeah.
Needless to say.
You needed it.
You clearly needed it. It was needless.
You were like, is that still a thing?
Like for them to say this.
No, it was needlessly to say a bygone time.
I need it. They laughed when I sat down to play the piano. Represents all the mail-order self-help, learn at home, and nascent 12-step Nostrum advertisements.
Oh, that is such a good ad.
They laughed when I sat down to play the piano.
And then I'm really fucking good.
Now I laugh at them.
Oh, shit.
You laughed at me.
Now the egg's on your face. Now I'm buff.
Now I'm jacked. And I can play the piano. I was a 97-pound weakling.
Oh, yeah, that's the good one from comic books.
was the slogan of bodybuilding kits humped by Charles Atlas.
Yeah, those are good.
An ad campaign that single-handedly kept matchbook companies and pulp magazines solvent for years. Cartoon characters eventually cohabited with the clever slogans and catchlines to attract and solidify the public's attention.
Yeah.
This joy of creation and the unique symbiosis between copywriters and cartoonists will be clear enough in the pages of this book. Damn.
Nice.
You guys got to get ready to buy this book.
It was a thing where I watched a thing where the guys were talking about this book, and then I bought the book.
Nice.
So, you know, it happened to me.
It could happen to you.
Yeah. The prints are really good. It's like you could really fuck up scanning in this shit, but they scan it in so good.
The pages are of
The paper's
the
great.
best quality.
This is the best paper I've ever felt. Yeah.
I was rubbing it earlier.
How do you say that word?
Does that pick up on the... Here, try just rubbing that. Maybe a little bit.
If I do it closer.
Rub it just with your fingertips, just like... You guys
All
hear
right.
it?
No. Conrad's touching the book too horny.
What do you mean? Just getting the pads, not the nails. I don't want to scratch
It
up
was
the
just
page.
the motion that you were doing. What's
I
inchoate?
was just looking
Can
at
you
you.
look up inchoate on your phone?
Inchoate?
INCHOATE. I've heard that word, or I've seen that word, and I've maybe heard it, but I don't know how to say it.
Inchoate?
How do you say that word? Inchoate.
Inchoate.
Inchoate. Okay, I think I've heard people say that.
Inchoate.
Inchoate. This inchoate joy of the process is as old in America as Benjamin Franklin, whose Poor Richard's Almanacs mixed advertising, sometimes subtly, with aphorisms, weather forecasts, useful business information, and biblical wisdom. It truly can be said that the first American political cartoons by Franklin and by Paul Revere were simply advertisements for the cause of independence. By the Civil War era, advertising in urban newspapers, usually restricted to dignified, i.e. boring type, and national magazines offering primitive woodcut imagery, was common. So in the Civil War, you could kind of only advertise with like words, I guess, is what it's saying. Barely 2 weeks after President Lincoln's assassination, amid ads for metallic artificial legs and pimple banishers in Harper's Weekly, 3 display ads selling medallions memorializing Abraham Lincoln and 2 ads selling photographs of John Wilkes Booth appeared. Whoa. The Booth photos were offered for 25 cents each, approximately $5 in today's value. Immediacy in advertising, in quotes, was on the rise, rivaled only by, in quotes, tackiness.
Tackiness is on the rise.
Yeah, that's true
Every
now.
day,
yeah.
dude.
By the 1880s, ads ran on 2 main tracks, the high road and the low road.
Classic.
To some critics, advertising's 2 roads invariably are the low road and the lower road.
Ooh.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
2 words. Shots
Viacom.
fired. 2 words. Viacom. Media. 2 words. iHeartRadio.
America's prosperity was in full swing. Consumers had money to spend, and therefore businesses had money to spend on advertising.
Yeah.
The advance in printing technologies, coupled with the proliferation of magazines and newspapers to carry ads, all gave rise to advertising's first golden age. The schizophrenic nature of advertising columns in periodicals of the 1880s and 90s is startling and, frankly, hilarious. Dignified artwork accompanying ad copy for expensive pianofortes was juxtaposed with garish display ads for trusses, bustles, cocaine addiction cures, and wart removers. In quotes, electric cigarettes are advertised not by a close-up of the cigarette, but by the dandy who would smoke them.
They had electric cigarettes?
Yeah.
What?
But I don't think they work. Oh, here.
Let me know what that is.
Here's how the next paragraph starts. Electric cigarettes.
Here we go.
In the 1880s, electricity was a new phenomenon.
This was made for me.
Thomas Alva Edison was the boy wizard of Menlo Park. So a firm marketed electric cigarettes. An amazing product was more the work of sulfur than circuitry. The tip of a match was embedded in the end of a cigarette, and all the smoker had to do, besides avoiding bent and broken cigarettes, was strike the cigarette against the package. Eureka! the flaming tipped cigarette. A Dr. Scott marketed these novelties in the days before prosaic warnings about cancer and flammable mustaches. Dr. Scott electrified the nation with many such products. Illustrated ads in the old magazines show off his arsenal of galvanized wonders. Electric belts and ladies' corsets.
Electric belt.
We got an electric belt. Electric toothbrushes and electric hairbrushes. Turgid and pseudoscientific ad copy assured
What is
potential...
it, Titan?
What?
Self-tightening?
I mean, I think it makes you skinny.
Oh,
I think it's that sort of thing. I don't know.
Right.
Hard to say. I don't think... One of the problems is that it didn't do anything, so it's hard to say what it's intended to do.
But yeah, I just want to know what the electric... Well, the electric corset, I know that, but the electric belt... I just don't know what about a belt.
I think it's shaking you, making you skinny.
Got it. It's shocking. It's shocking.
Yeah, maybe you get a little... well, I don't think it actually has electricity in it either. That's what they're saying. It's like they kind of don't know what electricity is, so you can just say it has electricity.
Oh, because
like the electric cigarette was just
comes on inexplicably.
Yeah,
yeah.
They're just cool. Like, what?
That's what electricity means. Is you don't understand it.
Yeah, kind of like AI right now, where people are just being like, "Yeah, man, it's."
People use the word AI too frivolously.
You're like,
for sure.
I don't know.
AI is the new electricity.
Yeah. Whose benefits? Okay. Turgid and pseudoscientific ad copy assured potential customers that if they doubted the product's electric properties, whose benefits were well known, of course, to medicine and science, they could conduct a test by passing magnets near the products. Magnetic underwear alone was insufficiently salubrious. Dr. Scott had to ballyhoo electricity, which was still a step removed from superstition. Thank goodness we live in a more enlightened time when pitchmen no longer promote invigoration through magnets or, say, copper bracelets.
Well, fuck that, dude. I want to have electric underwear.
They totally have those, though. That's what he's saying. Remember those bracelets?
Yeah, I had one. I was
nice.
like, I'm more flexible.
Yeah, that was the best. And they would do that thing where they stretch you out. Yeah.
They make you taller.
Yeah. Stuart Holbrook called it the golden age of quackery. Vulgar nostrums and cures, promises and testimonials were the stuff of magazine advertising, swamping in number, if not column inches, the more refined promotion of pianos, soaps, and vacation resorts. Surely the most outlandish fiction of the day was not written by novelists, but by copywriters in advertising agencies. Testimonials and endorsements also reflected a duality. Originally, most testimonials were from celebrities, and fairly dignified celebrities at that. Pear's soap was in the forefront. The Reverend Henry Ward Beecher, prominent pastor of America's largest church, a political leader, and brother of Harriet Beecher Stowe, who wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Shout out Harriet Beecher Stowe. Smoking
real.
that Harriet Beecher Stowe.
For real. We're going to head to the Harriet Beecher Stowe later. Allowed his whiskerless and presumably scrubbed clean face to be festooned on full-page ads as he averred that cleanliness is next to godliness. Amen. Other Pear's soaps ads featured the singing sensation Adelina Patti, whose endorsement assured readers that she cleaned her body and throat with no other soap.
Ew.
Always. That's what makes me sing good is when I put soap. My soap
soap down my throat. You don't want to know what was going in.
I think
there.
you drink it, right? Or
You drink soap?
is how you clean your throat with soap?
Oh,
I don't
my
think you're
God.
putting the bar in
I
there.
think you're gargling it.
Right, that's what I mean by drinking.
You're
it,
gargling soapy water?
I guess.
But she's just...
Yeah.
She's swallowing a whole bar like a steak.
Yeah. I don't even know if it might be powdered. Who knows?
Ew.
Pear's soap also pioneered the use of cartoons in their advertisements. In a famous cartoon ad, a filthy hobo, instead of a shiny celebrity, testified that he used Pear's soap 3 months ago, and since then has used no other. Patent medicines and absurd advertising claims were dealt a body blow, but not exterminated, when one Theodore Roosevelt's many reforms, the Pure Food and Drug Act
I love this act.
1906,
This is a good act.
became law.
Exactly.
Previously, a few publishers had already began to ban the bogus. Victor Lawson of the Chicago Record in the late 1880s rejected advertisements of products making obviously fraudulent claims. Popular magazines like the Saturday Evening Post and the Ladies' Home Journal had banned certain products and claims from their pages as early as 1893. In 1904, Collier's Weekly published a series of exposés about patent medicines. The Great American Fraud by Samuel Hopkins. Adams,
Medicines?
one of the
Chill,
muckraking
dude.
era's greats.
You're gonna get us demonetized, bro.
Whoa. The Great American Fraud.
Don't start talking about the Great American Fraud and patent medicines.
Dang.
This is on YouTube.
This is one of the muckraking era's greats, though.
Oh my god.
We're sort of muckrakers. We're sort of modern muckrakers.
I'm into muckraking.
You're sort of a muckraker.
I want ads to lie again. I want them to be like this.
That's not what muckraking
the
is.
iPhone. I know that's not what muckraking
Okay.
is, but they were talking about bogus ads.
Right, yeah.
And I want it to be like the iPhone 14 will
Will kill you.
make you jacked.
Yeah.
It'll make you stronger. It will kill
It'll
you.
kill your wife. Yep.
If you misuse this phone, it'll kill you.
The public further outraged by depictions of the meatpacking industry in the best-selling novel The Jungle provided fuel for a legislative fire. At the same time, some manufacturers and advertisers already had begun looking past the muck of nostrums and quackery, false claims, and outrageous promises. In 1896, Ingersoll watches had annual sales of about 300 units.
Do you ever think that you feel like you read a book but you don't remember anything from it?
Sure.
Like I feel like I read The Jungle.
Nice.
I don't know. I have
I don't know. Yeah, that's one of those ones where someone explained it to me, and I was like, okay, I get it.
I feel like I read it in high school, maybe.
It's one they make you read in high school, yeah. They work
But
at
I-
a factory.
I couldn't tell you shit about
They
it.
work at like a meat
I
factory.
couldn't tell you shit.
I think they put like poop in cans and stuff. I don't know.
You work at the poop factory?
No, they work at the meat factory, and that's why everyone's so mad.
Yeah, I work at the poop factory. I don't.
No, they're like get their
I don't know
finger
what-
cut off, and it goes in the.
I don't know how to explain
soup or
this, but
whatever.
I feel like I read this, but I
Right.
don't remember
It's a
it.
book that you read in high school.
I'm gonna read it.
That's a common feeling, I bet, for many people.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna
yeah.
go back. I'm gonna read
You're gonna
all
read
high
The
school
Jungle.
books. You're gonna read The Jungle. I'm gonna read The Stranger. I'm gonna read Animal Farm. I'm gonna just go back to sophomore year,
Yeah.
literally.
Really, and be like, guys, have you read these?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Has
go-
anyone read this? You're
gonna go to
posting a picture
Starbucks.
of you reading it.
I'm gonna go to
All
Starbucks
the
and
time.
read the fucking and read the Destructors.
You have The Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
You're reading The Great Gatsby. There's this one episode of King of Queens where Carrie is like, I'm gonna read The Great Gatsby. Or she's like, I'm so sick of you. You're so dumb. I'm gonna read The Great Gatsby. Or she's like, I'm a
That's such a
genius.
funny thing
And then
to
she like
read.
starts reading it, and she like hates reading it, and like will just stop to do anything. And then later, like she says she finished it, and like Doug is like, oh, that's so cool. And then, like I think he's like talking to someone. He's like, oh, tell him about The Great Gatsby.
Oh,
And then
no.
she's like, he's really great.
That's why you can't. Just
Right.
don't lie. Just say you read the book,
Right.
but don't talk about the book so much. You know.
Yeah, she was it's a fun episode. I don't know what it's called, but just look up King of Queens Great Gatsby episode. You'll find
Yeah.
it. You'll
Hell
find
yeah.
that on Freevee.
I'm gonna read Things Fall Apart.
Oh, that was
Later.
good.
Yeah.
Did you read that? Were you supposed to? I mean, was that something you covered?
Yeah.
That one was good.
Yeah, it was pretty.
They're
sick.
like getting all oiled up and wrestling.
Yeah, the two buddies jack each other off in the movie theater.
Dang. I don't remember
I
that.
think it's either in that might be in The Stranger,
That's in The Stranger, I think. Yeah, that's some French shit.
where it's like we went.
They
to
don't
the,
have movies. In
We went
Things
to
Fall
we
Apart,
went to the
man.
movie theater and jacked off.
Dang, I think that's On the Road or something. It seems like an On the Road story. But yeah.
Well, I don't know.
bet
It
everybody's
was
drinking
pretty
off.
strange to me.
Yeah, that's true. He's at the beach in The Stranger, but I guess there's movie theaters at the beach.
He chills with his friend, and then he goes to the beach and kills a guy.
I thought you hadn't read this.
The Stranger? No, I've totally read The Stranger.
Oh, you were saying you were gonna read it, like you hadn't read it.
I'm going back. I said I'm
Right.
going back.
But
gonna-
the other
I'm
stuff
gonna-
you were going back to, you hadn't read.
I'm gonna
or
pepper
whatever.
in
Okay,
the stuff.
nice.
You know what I mean? Start with The Stranger, something familiar, something from when I was 14.
Right.
All right, sorry, going off on.
Are you ready?
I've been ready, man.
Okay.
I was having
Any
fun.
other books? Any other books you want to mention, real quick?
The Bible.
The Pearl.
I've never read The Pearl.
Yeah, he finds this pearl.
Okay. And then what?
Big problems.
Conflict.
Yeah. Their watches they're selling 3,000 units annual sales at the watch place. Their watch's retail price was $1.50. Any customer could afford one, and the lack of diamonds in the mechanism enabled the reasonable price tag. But there was no tick-tock up TikTok in their sales because shop owners were reluctant to give equal space in their display cases with watches with more expensive timepieces that yielded higher profits. Ingersoll had time on its hands, lots of it, as the watches were not being showcased or promoted. John Brisbane Walker's Cosmopolitan magazine induced Ingersoll to take a $250 display ad in its pages, a beautiful drawing of a beautiful watch that could be purchased by mail. The first ad resulted in 1,800 orders. Within 3 years, the result of illustrated periodical advertising, Ingersoll was producing 8,000 watches a day to meet the demand.
Fuck.
Annual sales 3,000 to 8,000 watches a day. So you do the math.
with
You do the math.
All with the power of cartoons.
Yeah, because it was a beautiful watch.
It's a beautiful drawing.
Illustration drawings and mail order coupons remained timely assets of Ingersoll into the 1930s, when the watch for which they became most famous, the Mickey Mouse watch, was sold through Sunday Funnies and kids magazines. Artwork meet advertising. The wildly popular reprint 1897 Sears Roebuck catalog, forward by S.J. Perlman, 1968. I have this. Shows how important...
We will be reading it on the next episode.
There's nothing interesting in it. It's just cool pictures. It's like the catalog. It's like a Sears catalog from the 1890s.
Okay. All right. Well, check that book out, you guys.
If you find one. Well, I was like, shit, this is from the 1890s. And then I was like, oh, wait, no, it's from the 80s. Fuck. Or whatever.
Fuck.
But it's cool to look at. You look at all the stuff.
Love looking at
it. It features hundreds of advertising cartoons. Of course, there were different commercial demands between modular houses or wedding dresses in the Sears catalog and rubber pools of fake vomit and seat cushions that farted in Johnson & Smith. Johnson Smith. Just prior to the Johnson Smith heyday, President Calvin Coolidge famously said, "After all, the chief business of the American people is business." Just so, although the thrust of his speech forgotten today was that something higher than profit should motivate businessmen. But more to the point, our point here were the words of Thomas J. Barrett of Pear's Soap, whose campaigns we mentioned above. He said, "Any fool could make soap. It takes a clever man to sell it."
Right on.
Pretty interesting. Do you want to just read this one and then we'll be done?
Yeah, for
Then
sure.
maybe leave these.
You want to just... What if we
leave
just skip
these
to the
cup
end?
for a couple? No, it's all good.
It's all good?
Yeah, and it's like he keeps coming back.
Okay.
We'll come back to it.
I'm down to
another
just power
time.
through.
We can
Okay.
power through however you're feeling.
Watch the phone?
Maybe we take a brief intermission and then come back.
Oh, if we take an intermission, it's over.
That's what I was saying. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You could just read to the
No, I'm gonna
into
read
the section,
Yeah.
which is
that W. Yeah, hell yeah.
And then we'll do that next time.
Yeah, fuck yeah. We're gonna sell some copies. Breakfast foods deserved their special treatment. It was an industry that grew from few precedents, managed by lunatics, and every step of the way was dependent upon cartoon advertising as much as pulverized grains and their laxative effects. The 1994 biopic The Road to Wellness scarcely opens the box.
I've wanted to watch it, haven't seen it.
The Road to Wellness, we will be watching it.
It's a T.C. Boyle book.
Biopic. Or biopic?
Biopic.
Can a book be a biopic? that's just a
biography. That's just a bio.
Right.
Biograph.
That's what's up. It scarcely opens the box. I don't even want to watch it if it scarcely opens the box.
They're pretty freaky, yeah.
I want to vastly open the box.
I think there's a second one. I think there's a more extreme serial
Well, thank
background. Or my mom
Thank
read some other book
fucking
about
God.
the serial people, and I was like, "Oh, was it Road to Wellness, T.C. Boyle?" And she was like, "No, some other book." And I was like, "Oh."
Okay, bye. John Harvey Kellogg.
Battle Creek, Michigan.
Heard of him?
Yeah,
Obsessed with bowel movements and other aspects of the human condition.
just like Conrad.
I'm always trying to help my
You're
friends.
obsessed with your bowel movements.
I'm obsessed with the bowel movements and other aspects of the human condition. He's always thinking about shitting. He wants the world to shit.
Yeah.
He ran an eccentric sanitarium of eccentric regimens for eccentric health seekers in Battle Creek, Michigan. Shout out. His abused brother, Will Keith Kellogg, slaved over menial jobs at the dietary gulag and experimented with food preparations on the side. What a fucking crazy guy.
What a weird family.
They still have that stuff now. Yeah, what a weird family. They just love shitting.
They love shitting and concocting dietary...
Well, I'm in the shit business. And my sons are in the shit business. They will inherit my shit flake empire. WK, who's WK? Will Keith.
Yeah, he's the cookery.
Will Keith discovered that the mush of grain pastes, when rolled and baked, could be cut or shaped into flakes. Kellogg's flakes were the result, and WK's bold advertising concepts frequently included cartoons or humorous, folksy illustrations. Fuck. There's a fucking gnat in my face.
Dang.
And
We had a candle.
I know, dude. Should have had a candle. Should have bought a
Dang,
fucking
they
candle.
know.
What the fuck is going on here? I got the light trap.
Capitalism.
This
Capitalism at work.
Late stage bullshit.
Where the gnats, even the gnats are in the hands of the corporate
They're not paying.
oligarchs.
They're not paying rent. An early premium in the boxes of cornflakes, the Jungle Land Moving Picture Book, was a pamphlet with section pages that allowed children to design hundreds of animals by flipping portions of pages with cartoons on them. Oh yeah, we know this. With where it's like the two, where it's like it's a book and the pages are in like thirds, and you can like rearrange it so it's like the chicken's body and like a cow's head and
Oh yeah.
oh, those were great.
The good old days.
The good old days.
Now what do kids do? Murder other kids?
They just kill each other. They
Yeah.
don't even eat cereal.
Yeah.
They eat fucking
Too bad.
animal.
I'm watching murders on TikTok, Dad. Can't eat cereal.
I'm watching brutal shootings. It was a premium that was used for more than 2 decades. One aspect of cornflakes that WK did not promote was his flaky brother's conviction that they were aphrodisiacs. Sorry. That they deadened the sex drive.
Oh, reverse aphrodisiacs.
Whoa. So,
Bro, that's why they're selling them to us.
John Harvey Kellogg, I feel like I've seen a retarded TikTok about that.
Where it makes you not fuck.
When I'm an idiot Instagram.
Nice. Yeah, it's like
It's
fluoride or whatever.
Yeah, cornflakes deaden the sex drive and they lower testosterone.
And they make you
men.
complacent. And if you don't care, it's working.
Yeah, that kind of shit.
Simple math.
Yeah.
Simple logic math.
When you get entrenched in the idiot community, you kind of see stuff like that. In 1928, another grain was mutilated and reborn in the form of Rice Krispies. It is fucked up that we eat that shit. It's like horse food.
Yeah,
It's
they're
one
like,
step,
all right, get all wet.
One step from
get
horse
it all
food.
wet and then mush it up and then
Yeah. Dry it out. Spread it thin.
Yeah.
Cut it up.
I did always find it appeling that when the horse has that big bag of oats.
I want to eat that. Yeah, yeah.
I want a bag on my face. Just could dip into at any point.
Yeah, I want
Just
some
oats.
I want a big block of salt in my room that I can
Yeah.
suck on whenever I want. Keep me hydrated.
You can get that at the feed store.
Absolutely. Go to Callahan's Hardware.
Mineral. When I worked on my uncle's farm with the cows or whatever, he was at the ranch. He was like, "We got to go put in some mineral."
Okay. They don't call it salt. It's
I
mineral.
don't know. Yeah. I think there's just other stuff in it or something.
Okay, so speaking of minerals, Rice Krispies.
Yeah. Snap crackle.
And early on, a cartoonist was delegated to create its identification, like Grace Drayton, the Campbell Soup Kids, before him. Remember the Campbell Soup Kids?
Of course.
I sure don't. The cartoonist was not required to draw in a new style
Coolidge
or
was
invent...
president.
Yeah, exactly. He was not required to draw a new style or invent radically different characters. Their familiar characters already had loyal followers. Meanwhile, back at the sanitarium, in its early days, a patient named C.W. Post, oh my god, was so taken with the pre-masticated experiments of breakfast fare that he attempted to join the Kellogg's, but was put off.
There's a guy. Tony the Tiger's a real guy. Wait,
It was
Lucky Charms is based on a real Irish guy.
Toucan Sam ran the sanitarium.
Man came from Honduras named Toucan Sam.
And he brought rolls of rainbow colored mush.
Yeah, I like when he lists all the different
Damn, he's roasting cereal.
shapes.
He's roasting cereal. He calls it pre-masticated experiments of breakfast fare. That's so sick. He was put off.
It is easy to eat.
Of course.
Say what you will.
Oh yeah,
It's very easy to eat.
it goes down smooth. So he tried to join the Kellogg's, but he was put off by their assorted eccentricities. In the self-same Battle Creek, Post cast about for other grains and other functions, commercial, not bodily, and hit upon what he deemed to be a coffee substitute. Postum. P-O-S-T-U-M.
No.
I want to drink Postum.
Flop.
I want to try it.
Flop.
Made from wheat bran, wheat, molasses, and corn derivatives. Oh, God.
Corn coffee. That's like what they would drink during the Civil War and shit.
When mixed with water, it was a sludge that resembled coffee, but was free of its evil caffeine. Okay. What's the point of it, then?
I don't know.
It's mead? This is like mead?
I think it just has a coffee vibe.
Repurposed mead? Millions of early risers were sufficiently impressed by its qualities, or too sleepy to object, and Postum became a component of many households and military breakfasts for decades. Postum's biggest years were when an inspired ad campaign, perhaps the greatest of all cartoon advertising, made a star of its comic strip villain, Mr. Coffee Nerves. We all remember Mr. Coffee Nerves. Get the fuck off the table.
She got onto the chair.
Yeah, she's great. Now she's just sitting in your chair.
I'll flip the chair over. Keep going.
Yeah, throw her across the room. So everybody's drinking Postum. The army has Postum. The biggest years were when an inspired ad campaign, perhaps the greatest of all cartoon advertising, made a star of its comic strip villain, Mr. Coffee Nerves.
Mr. Coffee Nerves.
Mr. Coffee Nerves. Strips in Sunday Funny sections were drawn by Milton Caniff and Noel Sickles.
Oh, that guy's good. Milk Caniff's good, man.
Milt Caniff and Noel Sickles, the two kings, and several other top-flight cartoonists. Caniff later confided to me that since the gorgeous Coffee Nerves ads were drawn as late-night freelance work, he invariably had a mug of coffee next to his ink bottle, ready as needed. Never Postum. He said he would rather have drunk the ink. Damn.
So it sounds pretty good.
Damn. Post later began producing what came to be called Post Toasties. He beat the Kellogg's at their own game, outselling many of their products for years. He was just one of the dozens of breakfast cereal manufacturers whose headquarters, inexplicably, were in Battle Creek, not exactly in the wheat belt of America. Yet the landscape was dotted with factories belching forth slightly varied forms of crisped gruel.
He has a big
Yeah.
like bulletin board, and it just has synonyms for
Yeah.
cereal.
There's
That are really
there's a
mean.
crisp gruel factory in Kansas City.
What kind?
General Mills.
Whoa.
And it's all shut down now, but I wonder what that would smell like. Probably like
Kind of good, right?
beer, right?
Yeah, but beer, like, you have to make it go bad, kind of, right?
Oh, so it's a bad sign of it. It smells like beer. Fuck.
We've been we left those oats in the barrel
Oh.
for so long.
We
Fuck.
forgot to go to work at the factory. Fuck. Another fancier of grain mush was the aforementioned Henry D. Perky.
Perky.
Forgotten. He of the
Pour one out for our forgotten heroes.
Never fucking heard of this guy. He of the Unita biscuit. UNEEDA, folks.
I do.
One word. Unita.
I do.
You need a biscuit.
Like I don't.
We all do. An eponymous entrepreneur, he discovered that wheat mush could be rolled and extruded like angel hair pasta, spun into nests, baked, and marketed as shredded wheat.
Nice.
For no reasons other than catching shoppers' eyes. Nabisco had cartoonist paint Niagara Falls on the box design. Oh, he's Nabisco?
Yeah, I think he is Nabisco, yeah, maybe.
Nabisco had a cartoonist paint
That's a different
Niagara
guy.
Falls. What the fuck?
To do what?
Well, they just skipped over. Just to paint Niagara Falls on the box design, an example of irrelevance giving birth to product loyalty.
There you go.
Damn. I always wondered whether the falls were a subliminal assurance of flushing toilets. Classic. Sweet. But I have no market research as substantiation.
That makes sense. That's like your ass. Yeah, your ass is gonna be
Your
like
ass
Niagara
is
Falls.
like your ass is gonna become Niagara Falls when you try this.
Open the floodgates.
A serial groupie named Edwards Ellsworth, after the turn of the century, marketed his versions of the flakes as Force cereal. The name was redolent of not much, perhaps the strength that could be gained by controlling oneself during the day after ingesting such a breakfast. Damn, get him. This guy spent a long time talking about how this cereal makes you shit. He has said in about 11 different ways that the most popular advertising was for cereal that makes you shit.
Or also the point of cereal is to shit.
The
or
reason,
is to control your bowel
The reason we
movements,
eat cereal is because the Kellogg was a fucking shit
freak.
freak.
Yeah.
A total turd burglar.
I heard that in Germany, the way the toilet is, it's like. Have you seen? There's like.
It's on the. It sucks the shit out of your ass with a vacuum.
No. Like the way American toilets are, like the shit's like really far away. Kind of when you shit, like it goes down into the toilet.
Yeah.
But then if you go to like a European toilet, it's
And
like
it should be.
there's like a little shelf sort of thing where it's like doesn't go as deep.
No.
And then there's an even deeper part.
That's
and it's like for you to like check it out. You know, they want to see it.
Yeah,
think.
a lot of toilets when I was in Spain and Italy at least.
Yeah, I think it's a European thing.
They don't. There's no water. in
That's
it.
what I'm saying. Yeah. The water is real low.
The water comes out when you flush it, but the bowl just is dry. No water. You just have to
Yeah, that might be new.
paint it.
For economic reasons. Or
Ecological.
Yeah.
But anyway. But we digress. In any event, Ellsworth's cereal is yet another example of cartoon's role in a product's success. A pair of young ladies invented a grouchy cartoon character whose outlook and disposition completely changed after eating Force. Force! They submitted cartoons and poems about this gastronomically bipolar fellow whose post-Force name was Sunny Jim. Because there's no shit in him. He's all sunny and happy. He's empty. Force cereal lasted for decades on store shelves, that is,
Haha.
and still sells in England. Sunny Jim and Force were as popular on the American landscape as many commercial comic strip characters. It is possible that the ad campaign inspired a send-up, the long-running Sunday page Slim Jim and the Force, which commenced a half dozen years after the cereal. Hilarious. Good.
We're rolling.
Don't
on
they
the
know?
floor.
Don't they know we're reading this? Slim Jim was a mischievous circus clown chased for a never stated reason by 3 bungling cops. The Force. Meanwhile, back at Kellogg's, struggling to lead the industry it created, WK was a man already wise to the charms of ad copy and artwork. His bag of promotional tricks included hiring top cartoonists and illustrators for lavish magazine back covers, huge urban billboards, and the pretentious slogan that warned, "Beware of imitations. None genuine without this signature. W.K. Kellogg." Yeah, man. Mic drop. But one day, on a train, he met a rumpled advertising executive named Leo Burnett.
That guy's famous.
Ever heard of him?
That's the most famous guy.
We all love him.
That's the most famous advertising guy.
The rest was history. Both.
I think he's one of the characters in Unfrosted, if I'm not mistaken.
Leo Burnett?
Yeah, maybe we should watch Unfrosted before we read the rest of this. I think it might inform it.
Oh my god. We might as well. The rest is history. Both for Kellogg's, for whom Burnett would be great. Little foreshadowing.
Yeah. And the voice of Tony the Tiger is
Little-
Pinto Colvig, who's also the voice of Goofy.
And he's a black guy, right?
No.
All right.
His name's Pinto. Maybe he is, yeah. I don't know.
I thought he was a black guy.
He looks like a white guy in the pictures, but he could be a black guy. I don't know.
Very good point.
Or wait, no, it's actually
I genuinely
Thurl.
just thought he
I think
was a
it's
black guy.
Thurl Ravenscroft. I'm sorry, it's not Pinto Colvig. It's Thurl Ravenscroft,
Thurl Ravenscroft.
who's the voice. He's
Still could be a black guy.
he's not.
Thurl?
Yeah. The only black guys that worked at Disney were the live action guy in the racist movie.
Facts. Take that, Disney. The rest was history, both for Kellogg's. Burn it would be great. And for cartoonists as ad men. Oh no. Burnett was the first and maybe greatest proponent of cartoons as sales magnets and cartoon characters as pitchmen. And so on this page, before I go to the next one, there's a little cartoon of a little boy. It's for a deluxe ice cream.
Yeah.
And his name is... I'm assuming this is his name. It
That's
says
his name, yeah.
Skeezix Eats.
Yeah, that's Skeezix.
Deluxe ice cream. We know Skeezix.
I think so. Yeah, Skeezix is big. No, I don't know. There's like that's what's funny about all the newspaper guys. It's like literally everything we say now is like based on shit from the newspaper 130 years ago.
But Skeezix. He eats deluxe ice cream at the sign of Green Lantern. I just think the name Skeezix is
Yeah.
maybe the craziest.
Do you know Mutt and
name.
Jeff? Did you see Mutt and Jeff?
Mutt and Jeff is
Mutt. That's Mutt. He's Mutt. He lives with Jeff.
Mutt and Jeff.
Yeah.
Mutt and Jeff are. Oh, Jeff is a little ball.
Nah, Mutt and Jeff are. They might be later. I don't know where Mutt and Jeff are.
Skeezix.
Mutt and Jeff are in
But
cartoons,
just
too.
Skeezix is an awful name. I just wanted to point that out.
But I think he's like Dennis the Menace kind of thing.
Yeah, he's
like
a little boy.
bad boy.
Were there little boys named Skeezix running around?
I think it's a nickname.
Okay, for
Like his name isn't Popeye. Like
it's not
I mean that's his nickname. I don't think his given name was Popeye. I
Popeye.
don't think it's like Italian or something.
All right. Anyway,
This is the last
in
paragraph.
conclusion, our hero, whose Leo Burnett agency is still in business, a top Chicago institution, invented the friends of our childhoods and every housewife. Tony the Tiger, Snap, Crackle, and Pop, the Jolly Green Giant, Charlie the Tuna, the Pillsbury Doughboy, and other cartoon hucksters. The cartoons are hucksters. A bonus of adopting cartoon spokesman. What pen and ink character had to be paid royalties? Like actors and baseball stars.
Isn't it funny? Isn't it kind of funny that the essay?
I do think it is funny.
They're really taking it to him.
The cereal, the wheat,
They're really taking it to him.
the absolute lampooning of processed wheat cereal.
And
was
here's
really- it
a
was funny.
teaser for the next part. I think they get
A
into.
skeezer.
I think there's talk of Ritz crackers. I think they go into Ritz crackers a bit.
Yeah, hell yeah. Ritz crackers, we had those at communion at church.
Whoa.
Ritz crackers and
Yeah.
Mountain Dew.
No leaven.
Mountain Dew
Notably,
Code
no
Red.
leaven in Ritz crackers.
No leaven.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if there's leaven.
They're unleavened. That's why we had them. Ritz crackers and Mountain Dew Code Red there was the Eucharist and the sacrament.
I hope it has the Ritz cracker thing. That might be in a later part.
All right. Well, thank you
Yeah.
for listening. That was the cartoon book.
Drawing
Intro.
power.
Drawing power intro. Really
Learning a lot.
learning a lot. Interesting stuff.
The importance of cereal.
I skip intros.
the implications of cereal.
I've skipped the intro of every book I have that has an intro in it.
Well, usually they're bad.
I know, but now I think I'm going to start giving intros a chance. Take that away with you guys.
They're good, especially if you don't want to read the whole book immediately. You can kind of just read the intro
Get
and go,
ready.
okay, now I know if I actually read this book,
Get
I'll
ready.
be ready. Yeah.
Get fucking ready.
So,
Goodbye.